Hey everybody, welcome back to Nerd News Today. I'm Matthew behind the camera today, and this time around we're taking a look at a figure from Bandai Namco. This is part of their new Tekken line. Well, I say new, this actually came out sometime last year, but I'm just getting it in my hands now. And I'm very excited to get this. You know, on this channel, we spent a lot of time last year looking at a lot of the Jada Toys Street Fighter figures, and this time around now I'm excited that Bandai is doing these. And I first got introduced to these at Toy Fair last year, and I'm so excited to get these into my hands because, man, they are really cool. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick rotation first just so you guys can see this packaging, and I'll wax poetic all about this figure and why I'm so interested in it. In fact, let me move this guy into a better position here for you. So, yeah, I first saw these at New York Toy Fair 2023, I believe it was. Yeah, and, you know, I've been a fan of fighting games for quite some time, but Tekken hasn't really gotten a lot of figures in an affordable price range, to be quite honest. And, you know, Street Fighter's had plenty, Mortal Kombat's had plenty. Tekken has been this kind of neglected line, I think, as far as toys go in an adult collector space, and especially affordable ones. So seeing this figure here got me real excited because the other thing that's really cool about this is, you know, we've looked a lot at Bandai figures, particularly from the Anime Heroes line. And those are great, affordable, collector-friendly figures, but also great for kids. Whereas what we're looking at today, this Tekken Game Dimensions figure, this is a lot more catered towards the adult market, and this might be like one of the coolest figures that they've done as far as articulation, likeness, and all that stuff goes. So we'll get into that as we go a little bit deeper in here, but first I want to just talk about this packaging real quickly. And, you know, nice, simple, like most Bandai stuff is, and their general Target and Walmart lines that you'll find in stores. What's cool is you get this giant window, and this is one of those things that makes you want to be a mint on card collector because you have it positioned just like so, where you have the ready words right in the front of the packaging, like he's ready to actually start a fight, which is so cool looking. You've also got the Game Dimensions logo up top, and as we get further down, you'll see the character's name and a nice image of them. Now, the sides of the packaging have some more artwork, which is just the character on this box here. You'll see that, and I believe it's pretty much, yeah, nothing too exciting on the opposite side here. It's just the Tekken logo. So yeah, that's fine. Looks good overall though. Back of the box, not really too exciting either. There's no bio or anything. We do have a few screenshots of Heihachi in action. And then we've just got a big image of the figure right there, as well as a preview of who else is in this line, which right now there's actually not a lot of people. In fact, let me zoom in a little bit more on that for you guys. So yeah, at the moment, we have Heihachi, who I'm looking at today. We have Jin Kazuma, who we're not going to look at today, maybe we'll get another time. And then there's unlocked characters who we haven't gotten to yet. And I know one of them, and that's I believe the next one that's out, is actually King. So that's going to be really cool because as we'll see with these figures, you can kind of get a preview here. These guys are super articulated, and they really look a lot like another action figure line that I'm a big fan of on this channel. And that's WWE Elite figures, as well as Marvel Legends, and really the Jada Street Fighter toys. So we're going to do a lot of comparisons and talking about those figures today. And I do want to do that off the bat, in fact, because I'm going to slide over this Jada Toys Ken figure. And so this is kind of what the competition's doing here. So we'll just do a size comparison of the boxes and also a size comparison of the figures, because you can already kind of see right off the bat, it looks like this Heihachi is a little bit bigger than our Ken figure, which is interesting. And the packaging is also a lot bigger too. You know, of course, whose packaging is better, that's up to you to decide. I, of course, will always be a fan of Jada Toys' Street Fighter box, the arcade cabinet. But yeah, of course, we're not here to look at these things in the box, so let's go ahead, take our Heihachi out of that packaging and get a closer look at him from all angles. And here's our figure out of the box, ready to go in action. This thing is really cool. It really does feel like it's been pulled straight out of the video game, but it's also quite different from the Street Fighter figures I was just talking about, because that's the thing I say with those all the time. Let's do a quick rotation of this figure right now and just give you guys a full glimpse of how this toy looks. So I gotta say off the bat though, this thing looks menacing and imposing, and that's all the things you want with this character. He looks really buff, really strong. There are one or two things that are kind of standing out to me right now that maybe I don't like quite as much, but it still might be accurate. I don't know, we'll see. And there's definitely, you know, again, there's going to be a lot of comparisons to those Street Fighter figures because that's really the main fighting game toy out there on the market right now. So there's going to be a lot of comparisons to that. And I'm already seeing a few things where, you know, in some places they're doing better than Jada, and in some places maybe not quite as strong as Jada. So we're going to dig into that in one moment as we finish this rotation here. But overall, it's looking pretty good. And for this being Bandai's first entry in this style of figure, I'm kind of impressed so far, but we'll see if that really lasts this whole video. So let's go ahead and work our way down on the figure. Let's start with the head of Heihachi here, because that's probably actually the first part that has me a little bit like, huh, what's going on there? Because the head looks good, actually. The head looks really nice. I'm not complaining about the sculpt job at all. This feels like it's a good version of him. You know, again, this is a character who's mostly from like the 3D fighting game stuff, so, you know, it's going to look a little bit different, and it might be, you know, and sometimes easier to do than other things, but I kind of like the anime look that this figure has. It's got a decent sculpting job as well. He's an interesting one to kind of capture in this form because, I mean, he's almost like a Dragon Ball character with how outlandish his eyebrows are and his hair things. Jeez, this friggin' wings coming out of his ears practically. Yeah, but it looks good. It's very smooth sculpt, but it's got some decent detail in there. I'm a fan. Not like, you know, amazing, but definitely does the job. I know who this is. And, you know, looks pretty good from the back as well. That's just fun there. So yeah, head, you know, nothing to write home about, but it's good overall. I'll take it. I'll definitely take it for this price point here. Now let's talk about the body on this figure as we go down here. So just like the Street Fighter line from Jada, I'm pretty sure this gi we're going to be seeing on a lot of these Tekken figures because it's just easy that way. You know, you basically make this once, you're going to use it a ton of times, but there do appear to be like probably one or two unique pieces for this figure besides the head. We'll turn them around as well. I really like this giant tiger face coming out of it. It's really cool looking. And keep scrolling down. You guys can see everything. And you can really see those joints, because that's one thing Bandai doesn't hide is their joints here. So I'm going to get to that in 1 second. But I do want to come back to this uniform. And I want to kind of like feel it, how it is here. And okay, I was actually curious about this. So there is a texture on the top, and there's a similar texture on the pants that you can see here. I think you can see that video, and you can definitely feel it when you touch it in hand. So it does have a texture, and that's really cool because likewise so do the Street Fighter figures from Jada. And we're going to slide over Jada Toys figure very soon here. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, overall, also got to say, clean paint job. That's not really a major point of this video. I'm not going to really talk much about it, so I'm going to get out of the way with that right now, because it's a really simple paint job also. There's like no shading, there's no real crazy details with anything here. It's very simple. But it gets the job done. That's really it. And again, you don't really see a ton of detail in the Street Fighter figures, but I think we do get a little bit more kind of like shading in some of those. But again, different figures, different companies. And if you look at those Anime Heroes figures as well, you're going to see pretty much the same kind of style of paint application in that. So if you get one of these, it's not like you don't know what you're getting if you bought them before. And it's still not bad overall. It's fine. Now, let's talk articulation, because this is where this guy is going to really stand out. And unlike those Anime Heroes figures, Heihachi has a lot more points of articulation. But just like the Anime Heroes figures, and really like most figures, it's very exposed. There's a lot of very open, exposed joints. They're not trying to hide the joints at all. But I think they've actually done a better job with this than they have with the Anime Heroes line, because this really blends in better with like a G.I. Joe Classified, Marvel Legends, or WWE Elite. So let's run down some of the articulation here. And we have a ball-jointed head that can turn. Even the neck was actually moving too, so that's kind of interesting. Unusual. Okay. And I will admit that the neck joint is actually one of the things I probably like the least about this, because that is so exposed. I mean, especially when you start moving it around, it just looks really exposed. But it's moving. That's kind of what matters. You can give him some good poses. That's always a plus. And I think the fact that the neck itself is actually separate kind of lends itself to some better articulation. Now, let's talk about the arms. We've got ball-jointed shoulders, and nothing is stiff out the box either, by the way. Everything's moving really good in this figure, so that's always a plus when that happens. So we've got great ball-jointed shoulders. We have the bicep swivel. We also have double-jointed elbows, which is always a plus, so you can get into some real great poses with this. There's no butterfly joint as far as I can see. No butterfly joint on him. So I think the Jada figures actually do have a butterfly joint. So that's one thing that they definitely have over them as far as articulation goes. But at least they still do have the double jointed elbows, which is very important. Oh yeah, and the hands, by the way, they can flex and bend and all that, and they are swappable. That's why they just came flying out of him. But we'll get to that in a minute. There is a chest that can bend, looks like. Good range of motion, too. The waist can turn pretty nicely, all things considered. The legs as well, great flexibility in here. You've got Heihachi doing a full split, which is very nice. You can get some really good high kick in action with this too. That's always a plus. And just like the elbows, the knees are also double jointed, so you can get some real good dynamic posing. And the feet also can rotate and flex and do all the things. So there you go, looking good, Heihachi, on the articulation front. So you can get him into some really awesome poses very quickly right out the box. You know, I don't know what he's doing here. He's like doing a Hulk Hogan pose, maybe? I don't know. You know what? I think at this point, though, I do want to start talking about accessories, because he actually has a few. Just like the Street Fighter toys do, there's a few of them here, and they're kind of interesting. Now, we already saw that his hands do come off, and he does have an additional set of hands, so we get 2 closed fists and 2 open hands, and these are just the opposite ones that were currently on his body. Now, if you remember when we started this video, we had this ready text here. This is an actual 3D little piece of plastic thing here. It's not just a part of the packaging, it actually is an accessory, and that comes with this stuff right over here. We have a stand. There we go, 2 bits of the stand here. So we can put this together, we can actually have the ready logo. I'm gonna do that right now for you guys to show you how that looks. All right, so this is the centerpiece. We'll plop that here. We have this other piece that just pops into that like so. And I think we just put the text on here. I don't think it needs to do anything else. Yeah, that's it. Simple, easy, cool. That's a really fun accessory. Like, it actually is really cool, especially when you start adding more figures to your lineup. That's actually really fun. And the final accessory is this fun thing over here. No, it's not some kind of like laser octopus thing. This is an energy effect. It's an energy blast effect that our figure has. And I was looking at this thing and I was like, what do I do with it? And I realized these holes here, it's supposed to go through his wrist. So that's going to be good, because we can also just do a little quick hand swap as well. We can also check to see how customizable his figure is. All right, so it looks like these wrist wraps that are on him did not come off. And I don't believe these arms are going to come off either, so that gi top is staying on him. Something fun that we actually discovered with the Jada Toy Street Fighter figures is that, there we go, we'll do it like this, I think, is that the gi tops actually come off. You can actually do that fairly easily. I think you could probably do it here, but it's going to be a little bit more effort. Let's go with the open hands, I think. Let's see how that looks. There we go, like that. And so I think we can just kind of have him like manipulating the energy just like this, and that looks kind of cool. Yeah, that's not too bad. It's an interesting power effect. It's not like the Hadoukens that you're getting with the Jada Toys figures, but you're still getting something, and that works. I know with some more posing, you could definitely get into a better position than I've got it here. I just kind of wanted to show you guys how it looks, but it's not terrible as it is right now, right? So not too bad. And that's basically it on the accessories. So you get 2 additional hands, you get this energy effect, and you get that stand to hold the ready text, which is kind of fun. But what I really want to do is a side-by-side comparison to what we've got here. This is the main event of this video, I think. This is the side-by-side comparison of Jada Toys' Street Fighter next to Bandai Namco's Tekken Game Dimensions figures. So right away, you can see that there is a pretty clear height discrepancy that I don't know if it's meant to be accurate or not, because again, we've only seen this one figure. There's only currently, I think, Jin and, like I said, King out so far. I think King is out now. So we can't really gauge as far as heights go how accurate they are, but I do think that across the line, the Street Fighter figures, they do seem to be a little bit shorter than this Heihachi, but it might just be that he's really just taller than them in the games and the game heights, so he might still actually be in the correct scale for them. So again, these are both guys wearing gis, and it's kind of a great comparison because you can actually really see how both companies are doing the gis. But you know, breaking it down right now, you can see articulation is pretty much the same in the lower body. It's pretty much the same in the chest, pretty much the same in the arms, fairly same in the neck. I think the difference though is just, again, that neck joint doesn't look quite as hideous as it does on the Tekken figure. But if you get him in the right pose, if you get Heihachi in the right pose, it really won't make that big of a difference. So not too bad overall. I mean, the belts are looking pretty good too. We'll turn both of our guys around so you can see their backs as well. Really, you know, they're fairly close in feeling, which is good. I think the biggest thing is just the height, and that's going to be something that I think we'll have to just wait to see how it is with more Tekken figures. And when they're out on the market, we can really, like, you know, size them up a little bit better. But overall, they look really good. You know, if I was going to give anybody the edge here in anything, I do think I like the paint job a little bit better in the Street Fighter figures. I think there actually is a little bit of some more stuff going on there. And I kind of like the sculpting job, too, a little bit more in the Street Fighter figures. But that's not like a detractor saying, like, you shouldn't buy these because this looks better, because they are 2 different franchises and 2 different things. I mostly just want to do this comparison because they're so similar in what they are, essentially, as fighting game toys, that I wanted you guys to at least just look at that and observe it for a moment. But, you know, I really don't want to go out there saying one is better than the other. There's just, you know, maybe some things I like more. I do kind of like the sculpting, I think, a little bit more on the Street Fighter figures, too. Although I should point out that Heihachi does have a little bit of a chest burst there, which is kind of cool, game accurate. Really, overall, though, both look good to me. I'm happy with both, and I think it's kind of fun that you have these both, you know, these 2 figures in a similar scale. Close enough, at least, that, yeah, you can start mixing and matching, and that's kind of cool. And again, just like the Jada, the Bandai Tekken Game Dimensions figures are also really affordable. So that's kind of cool for you fighting game fans out there. You can buy a lot of good figures. You're not going to pay Figure Arts prices or Storm Collectibles prices. You can spend $25 and get really solid, excellent action figures. And since we're talking sizes too, I wanted to bring in some WWE Elite figures here, because this is kind of like, you know, what Bandai's doing in this case. They're kind of doing their own version of an Elite style action figure, because this is what the articulation is. You know, the articulation on Anime Heroes, as I'll show you in a minute, it's very minimal compared to what we're getting here, but it's really close to what we're doing with the WWE figures. And as you can see here, you know, again, talk about scale. The WWE figures are actually a little bit taller than the Tekken figures. So that, again, kind of reassures me about the scale of the Street Fighter ones too. Now, granted, most WWE figures tend to be like a little bit closer to that 6.5 size, but that's also because they are, most guys, these are taller than 6 feet, you know, so it kind of makes sense. Should Heihachi actually be a little bit closer to the height of these two guys? Maybe, maybe not, but at least you can see what I'm talking about. You can see just how the articulation works out and really how he kind of fits in with this line pretty well, so that's a plus. Now, we'll get these guys out of the way, and as I mentioned, I do have some Anime Heroes figures here. And I think the easiest one to kind of compare them to would just be Goku, assuming I can get Goku to stand up straight here. So again, talking about size and scale, you'll notice right away that Goku is fairly close in size, and that's kind of good. Muscles, of course, no comparison. Heihachi is way bigger. Overall, the Tekken figures are just much bulkier looking, but that kind of works. And not too bad. I mean, it scales up. It scales up a little bit. It's more just the fact that he looks a little bit scrawny compared to Heihachi, that Goku looks scrawny compared to Heihachi. That might be the biggest issue between them. But, you know, not terrible from a distance. And I'll slide them all down for a minute because I want to bring in a figure we recently looked at. This is one of the more recent figures from the Anime Heroes line. This is Zuko. This is Midoriya from My Hero Academia. And man, is he tiny compared to these guys. I mean, wow. Okay, talk about some height discrepancies there. But this is how he's going to look, and again, you can really see the difference in the figure quality and design here, because the figures that we're looking at right now, the Anime Heroes on the left and right of Heihachi, their joints are really exposed, whereas, you know, I said there's exposed joints, but it's more akin to how, like we just saw the Elites are and other figures are on the 6-inch scale, whereas most of the Anime Heroes, they don't quite look like Goku, because Goku has the big puffy hammer pants, but, you know, Midoriya is a better example, because they have really exposed ball joints across them, and it can be a little unsightly at times, but they definitely designed them a little bit better here in this Game Dimensions figure. So yeah, it's really just a nice way to upgrade your collecting as far as these toys go. So yeah, nothing really bad to say about that. Just showing you guys what you're going to get in for when you buy one of these toys. So that pretty much is our look at Heihachi from Tekken Game Dimensions by Bandai Namco. And overall, I'm going to say it's a good value. Let's plop a few of the accessories down here. It's good value, good figure, worth it for the price. Really, like, there's nothing really bad I can say about these guys, other than, you know, you do have to be careful with those wrist joints, because it basically butts up against that wrist tape in the hands. That's kind of just the thing with, I've noticed a lot of Bandai figures, is their hands tend to just come out real easily. That's just a thing that they do. I don't know why, but yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with this version of Heihachi, and I'm excited to get more, and I'm especially excited to get King. I think everybody wants to get King. And seeing how he's going to look now, getting a preview of how he's going to look next to other wrestling figures, that's a good sign. So that's our look at Heihachi from Bandai's Tekken Game Dimensions lineup. If you want to get one for yourself, go ahead and check out my affiliate links in the description of this video below. If you click on any of those links, it helps support this YouTube channel at no extra cost to you. Until next time, I'm Matthew. This has been Nerd News Today. We'll see you guys next time, and I hope you're ready for more figure reviews. Do you like what I did there? Because there's ready text here. You got the joke. You're fine. All right, let's wrap this up.